Action. Welcome back, boys. We got yet another week of exciting fantasy football action to bring your way. We got the playoff race is definitely heating up. Come down the stretch here. The race to escape the toy bowl is also heating up, and one of our notable frontrunners of that race, Tyler Cleesby, has come to join us to brag about his whopping 190-point week and also break down all the other exciting fantasy action we saw across the league this week. So, without any further ado, Tyler, welcome to the show. Thanks for joining us. Anything you'd like to say to the boys before we get into all the action here?
No, boys, getting down the stretch here, hoping to avoid the lake this year, hopefully get into the playoffs here. So best of luck to everybody down the stretch. And thanks for having me, Travis.
Yeah, of course. So, any further ado, let's go ahead and get right into the action. First matchup, we had Gliz Mafia, like we said. Monsters 100-point beatdown of the Francie Feast, who's now lost. I believe that's their third straight loss, coming at the worst time. But Gliz Mafia, 190 to 89 victory. Tyler, give us the breakdown of how your boys were able to pull this one off.
Yeah, sorry, Matt. We kind of had to go belt to ass this week. Our season's we're running out of opportunities here to get back in the playoff hunt. So we kind of needed this one. The boys came out on fire. Um, Definitely really driven by a lot of good performances this week. I think really only my kicker was the only letdown. Pretty much everybody else kind of at least performed up to expectations, if not, several people that over exceeded expectations this week. Devon Achane really led us. He had two monster touchdowns in that upset victory for the Dolphins over the Buffalo Bills. So that was good to see. Achane's usually one of our best performers. Um, that or Caleb Williams was stepping in place of Dak Prescott this week, had two late touchdown drives to really jolt up his score to 29 points. Emeka Buka had a nice week, 25 points with a tutty. Broncos D, 29 points with a great performance against Oakland, or should I say Las Vegas Raiders. Um, and then Josh Jacobs really finished it off. We came into Monday Night Football really hoping for a 100-plus point victory. It doesn't happen super often in this league. And he got a nice 18.7 points despite a late fumble loss to really carry us home. And, that's our team captain, so we wouldn't want anybody else to bring us to the 100-plus point victory.
Very well said. And like you said, a very impressive performance when you have 40 bomb and two more nearly 30 bombs come behind it. It's going to make it tough to take you down pretty much any week. So hats off to you, Gliz Mafia, and best of luck the rest of the way here. See if you're able to put something together and make a playoff push here late. Maybe. We'll see.
Open, fingers crossed.
All right, on the flip side here for Fancy Feast, like we said, just an unfortunate performance coming at a worse time. This team's still holding on to a playoff spot for now, but they got to right the ship quick to avoid a complete and utter free fall out of the playoffs. I feel like this is not the first time this team would be happening for this team either, so definitely not something their fan base wants to see. Still had a couple decent performances in this one. Romo Dunze and Devontae Adams both in and around 20 points, both of them finding the end zone each, but they both would leave this game with questionable tags, so definitely something we'll have to keep an eye on. Niners defense, definitely the big letdown spot, finishing with negative points, negative 0.11. So they give it 42 to the Rams. Just hate to see that. With the way our scoring setup, you should really never be getting defense. And the negatives, Drake May notched 18 behind that. Not much else to write home about this week. Definitely one they're going to be burning the tape on. See if they're able to correct things moving forward and punch their ticket home in the playoffs, or if they're going to let this slip. Because, like I said, I believe this is 3 straight losses for them now. And
I think so, yeah.
that is a lot of losing. All right. Second match of the week. We had yours truly at the Texas Size 10 Fours with a humble 139 to 115 win over Sticky Mistakes. Sticky Mistakes had been getting a little hot lately. We were lucky to put some water on that fire, keep them off our backs this week. Jared Goff was a big performer for us, had a nice 31 points in that 44 performance for the Lions over the Commanders. So he was able to find the end zone 3 times. We were also able to notch 20 points out of both Chris Olave, who was also able to find the end zone, which we were happy to see, and then 17 out of the Bears defense. few too many single digits sprinkled throughout the lineup. Would have liked to see more out of James Cook. Bills really, as a whole, just play like shit against the Dolphins this week. But we're pretty happy with a 140 to round out the week. We'll take the victory any way we can get it. And we move forward, still find ourselves alive in this playoff hunt. We're currently in a mediocrity bowl spot, but we're tied for that last playoff spot. So we just got to keep winning and see where the cards may fall.
Yeah, the flip side for the sticky mistakes here, not a great week for my domestic partner over here in Milford, Michigan. On the flip side this week, he had a few nice performances. Daniel Jones at the top had 19, respectable, but not going to carry you to a victory. If you scroll down, Travis, I think he had a big performance from JMO this week, so 25 points. So as a Lions fan, that was good to see him get going. And then I think he had a big week out of Smitty as well. So kind of carried by those three mostly this week, but had a few too many, single digit performances this week that is going to make it rough to win most weeks when you score 115. So hopefully he can string together some late season success and maybe avoid the toilet bowl because it's starting to get pretty cold out.
That it is. All right. Moving on to our third matchup of the week. We have Philly Chicos continue to roll. They improved to league best 8-2 with a 157 to 143 victory over FaZe Cav. Sure. You can go ahead, Tyler.
Okay, well, I guess starting with FaZe Kev here.
No.
100.
All right. You can do Blake. I'll do Kev.
Oh, my bad. Oh, yeah.
We
For
don't do
Blake here,
rivals on this show.
fair. That's probably smart. For Blake, very good performance this week at 157 points. Obviously, very much driven by the 930 performance of Jonathan Taylor. Pretty much woke up to him seeing 3 touchdowns in the morning, so that had to be a good feeling. Probably hard to lose most weeks when you're having somebody score 55 points, but this was a closer race than anticipated after that 55 points. Nico, 23 points, Judkins, 12 points, so good days out of them. Looks like Garrett Wilson got hurt early in that game, so we hopefully are hoping that he's not out too long. Wish him a speedy recovery. But despite the goose egg, great performances pretty much elsewhere in the lineup that really drove home the victory. I think the Colts had another good day as well at 15.1. So good performance for Blake. He's been hot a lot this year. Coming into this year, I didn't quite foresee this happening. But credit to Blake's scouting and free agency staff over the summer for really overperforming to my expectations, but probably not overperforming to their expectations.
On the flip side here for FaZe Cav, it was looking like they were starting to get something going. Very strong performance out of them still this week with 143. Most weeks that'd be enough to get it done, but this one unfortunately is not going to be one of them. And falling to 3-7 now, you'd have to think that's probably going to be the nail in the coffin on their playoff hopes. There's maybe a chance they could still escape the toilet bowl, but we'll see. They'll have to continue stringing some wins together. Josh Allen continuing to be the bright spot that he always is, even though the Bills didn't play that great. He was still able to find himself up over 20 points. Trey Henderson had a monster day that would go to waste, unfortunately, with 31 and a half out of him. So he was able to get nearly 150 on the ground and find the end zone twice. And then Drake London also had himself a pretty good day, finding the end zone, getting 25 points. So like we said, still a pretty good matchup. They just ran into a few too many points across from this week, and it would end up biting them in the ass. Like we said, they fall 3-7. Still got some hope to play for to get the toilet bowl, but definitely a devastating loss over in FaZe Kevville. We'll see how they're able to bounce back from this one going forward. All right. Our fourth matchup of the week, we have Cleveland Steamers taking down Wallace Pluto with a score of 156 to 135. Cleveland Steamers improves to 7-3, firmly holding on to a playoff spot, still hoping to get the lead back on the American Division, while Wallace Pluto falls to 4-6.
Yeah, pretty good week for Nick here at 156 points. That's going to get the job done most weeks. Had a lot of very consistent performers in his lineup, starting with Justin Herbert filling in for Patrick Mahomes this week, had a decent game. Christian McCaffrey, 16 points. So, that really helped out. Maybe a little bit under what you'd expect for him, but still a very solid game nonetheless. Ladd McConkey had 22 points, so that was good to see. I know he's had a little bit of a slow start to the year, but it seems like he's starting to pick it up. So that's good for the Cleveland Steamers. Trey McBride, another great week. I think he's tight end one on the year, so 27 points again from him, really helping out in this one. I believe he had a really good game out of the specialists as well at 15 from Dicker the kicker and 24 from Houston. I believe they got like a late touchdown there to help elevate that score, but great week from Nick. Good to see going into the back stretch of the year as he's hoping to clinch a playoff here.
Yeah, for Wallace Pluto on the flip side here, they fall 4-6. Not an opportune time, and really they just had what you would call a complete opposite of a team game here. Jahmyr Gibbs definitely came to play this week, finding the end zone 3 times, getting 41 points total. He definitely showed up to lead the way for this team, but the rest of them did not follow. Jackson Dart would go out with an injury. We have to keep an eye on that, hope that he's okay, but he was able to finish the game with 30 points. Other than that, few too many bad performances throughout the lineup. You see a lot of single digits. Moore with 0 against the Lions. Jefferson held the single digits. Kamara had a pretty solid day, and they had some decent days out of the specialists. But add it all up, 135 is not a horrible score, but it would not quite be enough in this one. They fall to 4-6. Playoffs are probably out of reach for them now, but they do still have hope to escape the total bowl. We'll see if they're able to do that in the weeks coming forward. And then our fifth and final matchup of the week, we have PC Principal improving to 5-5, completely opening up the playoff race with 148 to 96 point victory over the Can Pams, who also now fall to 5-5. And their playoff spot is definitely a lot less secure after this one. First off, Baker Mayfield leading the way, 27 points, finally end zone 3 times, 0 turnovers. The Buccaneers would fall to the Patriots in this one, but still very good fantasy day out of him nonetheless. Brees Hall also had himself a pretty good day with 23, and then Vidal leading the way with 21, also able to find the end zone. Weil and Smith and Jigma also around 20. Really just the whole team playing solid. No one really blowing anyone out of the water in this one, but when everyone does their part, you look up at the end of the week, you're going to have yourself a good score. And that was the case for them in this one. Like you said, they improved to 5-5. Their playoff hope's still very much alive. We'll see if they're able to keep winning and punch their ticket to the big dance come season's end here. I know that would not be to the delight of Gliz Mafia.
Definitely not. Nope. Yeah, on the flip side here for the Can Pams, another team that likes to talk shit to us, but I think, like their franchise slightly more than PC Principal. So we were definitely rooting for them in this matchup. Howard didn't seem like they could get it done this week. They were driven mostly by a very top-heavy performance this week as the kind of their first 4 guys in their lineup. I would say, actually 3 guys because AJ Brown wasn't quite doing it this week. But Derrick Henry, Kyron Williams, Lamar Jackson, usually 3 bell cows for Lemp. They came to play today came to play this weekend for the most part. But at the bottom of the lineup, a few too many bad performances. They kind of negated that. AJ Brown and I think Romeo Dobbs both had, games that you'd hope to forget about and put in the past. Swift with a decent day, but overall, a few too many low scores. That's not going to get it done most weeks. Very unfortunate as a former AJ Brown owner to see this type of usage out of him. We felt some regression was coming given, the lack of throwing proficiency out of Jalen Hurts at times, but we didn't expect it to get this bad this year. So we've seen some of his comments out in the marketplace, and we just send our condolences to him because, we loved AJ Brown and our time with him. He's one of the OG Gliz Mafia, so unfortunate to see over there in Philly.
Does Lem's current nickname for him make you feel a little less bad about the situation?
Yeah, I guess you could say that. That's out of AJ Brown's control. That's more to do with their blonde-haired owner there. So,
That's fair.
um,
Also, I feel like this also reminds me, worth mentioning. Uh, Cam
I
Pams
didn't.
has gone out and gotten Odell Beckham off of the free agent wire. We did feel the need to point that out. They have temporary stolen from the Cleveland Steamers front office. Cleveland Steamers owner Nick Langley has been absent from the show for the last few weeks. We've not gotten a chance to get an explanation out of him, but I'm sure he will have a statement upon his.
When did he acquire Odell? Because it surely didn't happen.
I don't know if it shows in
Did
browser. It might only show on my phone.
It certainly didn't help this week. I wonder if
It was
he's got
definitely
like
it was like a
he's
week.
like a place spy from the Cleveland Steamer organization into the Can Pams organization to try to drive their team success down.
I think that is exactly what
He's a
happened.
sleeper agent.
I don't think it's gonna show me. I think I'd have to check on my phone.
Dang.
It was like a couple
He,
weeks.
he could be a sleeper agent though. I'm just gotta watch out.
We'll keep an eye on the situation. We'll have to get some intel out of Camp Ham's HQ to see what's going on. All right. Without any further ado, we have a whole nother week of exciting fantasy action to bring you ahead. So let's go ahead and get into the upcoming matchups. First off, yours truly, Texas Size 10-4, as you now sit at 5-5, taking on Gliz Mafia at 4-6. Not quite a playoff eliminator, but damn near a playoff eliminator. The loser of this one definitely going to have a much steeper uphill climb the rest of the way. So, Tyler, I know my boys are going to be ready to play. Anything you'd like to share ahead of this matchup?
No, the boys know what's at stake. We're playing for a playoff berth. Two teams that are hoping to get there that'll both be fired up. Usually we have good rivalry, good games back and forth with the organization. We have a lot of respect for you over there at Texas Size 10-4. So looking forward to the matchup this week and may the better team win.
All right, I agree. Best of luck to you guys as well. Second matchup, we got Wallace Pluto sitting at 4-6, taking on Sicky's Mistakes at 3-7. Both teams trying to escape the toilet bowl. A win here would definitely help that case out. Third matchup, Philly Chicos sitting at 8-2. Still atop the league, taking on PC Principal at 5-5, who's just opened the door to making the playoffs, but now they got to go through the best team in the league in order to do so. We'll see if they're able to get it done and stay hot and keep this playoff race open. Fourth matchup, FaZe Kev just fell to 3-7, taking on Cleveland Steamers at 7-3. Cleveland Steamers still trying to improve their playoff seeding. Maybe grab the American division back from the Philly Chicos here at season's end. FaZe Kev just trying to do anything they can to escape the toilet bowl. And then our fifth and final matchup of the week, we have Fancy Feast coming in this one at 6-4, looking to get off the slide any way they can, taking on their former roommate in the Can Pams at 5-5. This is the battle of the mom names. We'll see who's able to get this one in the win column for their team. Definitely will improve their playoff odds rounding out the season. Definitely a lot harder to make the playoffs for the team that loses. So we'll see what happens. Quick peek at the standings here. Fancy Feast currently leading the Michigan division at 6-4. They have us in the Mediocrity Bowl currently at 5-5, but only one game back in the division. It's definitely nipping at the heels. And then Gliz Mafia, Walls Pluto, and Sticky Mistakes all currently sit in the toilet bowl, but definitely still have a chance to escape. And then over in the American division, the Philly Chicos currently number one overall seed at 8-2. Cleveland Steamers right behind them at 7-3. And then PC Principal currently holds the playoff spot at 5-5 on the points for tiebreaker. Can Pams now falls into the Mediocrity Bowl for the time being with the losses last week. And then FaZe Kev looking to escape the toilet bowl at 3-7 right now. And that is all we have for you boys this week. Tyler, any final thoughts before we get out of here?
Yeah, I'd like to just take this one moment. I want to go on record here and plant my flag on the field of Ohio in a sense that I would like to announce that I would like to be rivals with that dreadful organization down in Cincinnati, the PC Principal. All right. we have a lot of love and respect for Kev over at the Face Kev organization. We respect that game. It's a very important game to us. But Kev is a very likable owner. There's a lot of love there. There's absolute hatred with this team down in Cincinnati. And we would love nothing more than to be able to kick their ass every year on week 13. This guy, he's always got, my team and my name on his mind year round, to the point where he went and made sweatshirts for half the league that says fuck Clee season. And that's a whole personality trait for him. And it can't be fuck Clee season if every year is fuck Clee season. Then at the very least it's seasons. Otherwise you might as well just say fuck Clees in perpetuity, because that's the truth apparently to your organization. So we would like to put our flag in the Ohio field for playing PC Principal on week 13 from 2026 forward.
All right. Well, very well said. We can tell you're very passionate about this topic. Love to run it to the higher ups, see what they say, run it over with the whole league. But folks, you've heard it here first. Gliz Mafia demanding PC Principal as their future rival, dropping the rivalry with FaZe Kev. We'll see how it all plays out, but I believe the ball is in PC Principal's court to respond. So, Cooper, maybe next episode you can come on and we can get a response out of you or something. But other than that, thanks, boys, everyone, for tuning in. Tyler, thanks for guest hosting and for that very passionate statement there about your rivalry. Hope everyone enjoys the video and everyone gets their lineup set for another exciting week of fantasy action as we gear up and get on this run towards the playoffs here. Thanks again, everyone, for tuning in. Peace out.
Peace out, boys. Have a great week.